Welcome to Retirement in a Nutshell, and this training video on how to enter a new plan for a client or how to make what-if copies of a plan to evaluate alternatives. After entering and saving a new client, the program will display the Plan What-If screen. It may also be selected by clicking the Plan What-If item under the Basic Entries menu on the right side of the page. You will notice that as you work from top to bottom of the entry menu and then save information for an item, a check mark will appear next to that item. The first 4 menu entry items need to have information entered and have check marks for you to be able to select and view a report. The additional entries items are not required before viewing a report. When you open a new Plan What If screen, it will put the current date that you first work on this plan. That date is automatic and you cannot change it. If it is an old plan you want to update with today's date on it, select the What If Copy Plan button and it will make an exact copy of the old plan with today's date. For the description, type in a name that will describe what you are modeling with this plan so you can easily find it later. For new plans, you might call it Initial Plan or Baseline Plan. If you are doing a what-if copy of a plan to see how retiring later might change things, you might name it Retire at Age 70. The Run Report to Age controls the number of years of the hypothetical cash flow portion of the report you want to display. If the client is young, you might want to run the report to age 90. If they are older, you might want to run it to age 100 or more. The Plan What If screen is perhaps the most important of all the entry screens. It controls when all the items you later enter for income and investments start and stop. For instance, the program automatically assumes that all salary income and investment account contributions start this year and stop in the year before the age you enter here as the client retirement age. The program also assumes that defined benefit pension income and withdrawals you entered for investment accounts start at the retirement age you enter here and run for the rest of the report years. Think of this entry screen as the overall control tower, like an airport controls when planes land and take off, but here it controls the timing of all the income and investment items you enter later. This saves you from having to enter start and end years for each individual income or investment item. It also allows you to make a what-if copy of your plan and just change the ages here, and it automatically adjusts all the start and end years for all the income and investment items in just a few keystrokes. If you do not want a particular income or investment item to start or end based on the retirement age you enter here, we have built in the flexibility using optional entry tabs on the income and investment screens to override the age you enter here for just that particular item. For instance, the client tells you they plan to quit their current job this year and have a new job lined up for next year. You can go to the income screen for that salary item, click the Optional Settings tab, and enter an end year of the current year. The income for that current job will only show up on the report for the current year. You can then enter another income item for the new job and under the Optional Settings tab, put the start year for that new job as next year, and it won't show up on the report until next year. The Social Security age for each client is the age you want Social Security to start for that client. If you want to change the start year for Social Security for a plan, you can only do that here on this screen, and trying to use the optional settings on the income screen won't work. We have provided the flexibility under the optional settings on the income screen to enter an end year for Social Security if you have a large difference in age for married clients and you want to show the smaller Social Security payment stopping when the first client passes away. After entering information on the screen, make sure you always hit Save or it will revert to any previously entered information. Clicking the What If Copy Plan button will make an exact copy of the current plan you have open and displayed as the selected plan at the top of the page. When you do this, the description field will be blank. You need to enter a description that represents the change you plan to make in this new copy. For instance, if you want to change retirement returns, you could call it Increase Investment Returns. After you enter the new description, hit Save first before you make any changes. Then you can go to any entries you have made on the previous plan and make changes to model whatever you want and compare the results. A note of caution. Be careful when you make copies of plans that you know which plan you are copying. If you make a copy of a copy, then you can have changes on top of changes, and that can be confusing. It is also recommended that you only have 1 or 2 report PDFs open at a time for viewing, so you know which plan you are viewing. Having 5 or 6 plans open in your browser at one time can be very confusing. The Delete Plan button will allow you to delete a plan, but not any other plans you have saved. It will ask you if you're sure, so you don't delete it by mistake. The Plan List button will display a list of all previous plans you have saved for this client, and you can click on any of them to load them into the program and copy or work on them. If you do a plan for a client at the end of the calendar year, and you come back to finish it in the new year, you should make a what-if copy of what you entered previously before adding more information, so the report will start in the current year. That concludes the training for entering a plan and preparing what-if scenarios for a client. If you still have questions, please look in the Frequently Asked Questions list or call our toll-free number and we'll be happy to help you. Thank you for using Retirement in a Nutshell.